A lot of walking up here back and forth. 51 years old, I'm about to fall out of here, yeah? Between this damn Spanx and that damn Spanx and this Jack Honey in the parking lot, boy, they gonna have to roll me out of here. LeBron playing 9:30, put it in your phone. I'm not gonna be up here long. Catch it now. Catch it now. Wish that not for yourself, that you don't wish for your fellow man. How can you sit in this room tonight and wish to be successful and elevate your level of success, and you don't want everybody in this room to be successful? I got a resolution for you, black folk. Start celebrating other people's success. You understand? That's a direct reflection on how you feel about yourself and other people around you. I shouldn't have to tell you to get on your feet and clap when I'm telling you about your inner self. I ain't telling you about nobody else. I'm telling you to look around the room. And if you don't believe in the cause that you are here for tonight, then what the hell are you doing in the room? If you don't feel good enough that you can get on your feet, I bet you if I was Joel Osteen, you'd be on your damn feet. I bet you if I was T.D. Jakes, you'd be on your feet doing all this right here. $3,000 Louis bag, $25 in it. You better get your damn life together. Now you can sit down. All I wanted you to do was show the ancestors that you appreciate being here. That's all I wanted you to do, because I don't know whose backs you think you standing on, but that's the reason you here tonight. All them red dresses, all that incarceration, the odds stacked up against you, black man trying to make it to 21, black woman the last to get married, first to get divorced, over 68% single households in the United States, and they running black for Trump commercials on my damn radio show. I don't understand it. Instead of being blacks for Trump, how about being blacks for God, which means you're blacks for your damn self. LeBron play at 9:30. I ain't got all night. I don't have all night. Coming to the stage right now, before she was so rudely interrupted, please show some love for Miss Christy Williams. Clap it up. Clap it up. Come on, Miss Christy. Hold on to her hand. You know I ain't got no insurance. Come on here.
Good evening. It is such an honor to be here tonight. A couple of short years ago, I was an advocate for mental health and substance abuse and domestic violence, all of the things that I had experienced. But I was really not talking about the incarceration that I had endured, because I was very ashamed. I was more ashamed of the incarceration than I was of the crack that I smoked or the domestic violence that I had endured. And I met people along the way that helped me to understand that my incarceration had nothing to be ashamed of. It was something that I had endured. It was something that I had experienced. And it was something that I had thrived after coming home. And so I should be proud of the experiences that I had. Not of all the decisions that I made, but about the experience that I had. And Tia was one of those people who helped me to see that about myself. She helped me to understand that there is beauty after the bars. And so I feel good today to support her in the work that she does and serve on the board. Because if you know me every day, I have on jeans, a t-shirt, and some tennis shoes. So only Tia could make me go shopping for a dress, flat iron my hair, wear lashes. But it's for her that we do this, because she really does help us to see that we are beautiful. That despite the scars, the dents, the bad days, that there still is beauty. And so thank you all for coming. Thank you for your support. And thank you for seeing us as the human beings that we are, and for loving us despite the bad decisions that we may have made. Thank you so much.
Being escorted by the black Clark Kent. Look at it. Got them Easter colors on. Boy, you look good. You hear me? I dare you to stop them applause. Keep it going one more time. Keep it going. She make your makeup run up here. Okay, don't you start that now. You said you weren't gonna do it. You said you weren't gonna do it. I knew you was gonna do it. You want me to go there?
Thank y'all so much. Y'all can have a seat. Y'all can definitely have a seat. This is a girl from me. I told Tom that this year meant so much to me. I never write anything down, and I won't be long because I have keynote speakers and they're phenomenal. At this time, I would like all of my sisters that travel and my brothers that travel all over the world just to support me. Pay for your own flights, pay for your own hotel rooms, just to support my vision. Can you please stand, please? All over the world. Y'all give me a round of applause, please. All my sisters from all over the world. They travel far and near to support me. Y'all give it up for them, please. Everybody, that's not near Charlotte, North Carolina, please. They came to support me. Thank y'all so much. This work that we do tirelessly, trying to make a difference in the world and let people know how important it is. Last year I went to the hood where I'm from and I sold tickets. I didn't do that this year. Didn't do that too much this year. Let me know that my elevation is going up. I'm very thankful to God for my vision and for allowing me to be able to come out of the closet. And what I mean by that is when I first came home, I didn't talk about my incarceration because it was an embarrassment. And a lot of people didn't know that I was incarcerated. They played softball with me, that worked with me. They didn't know that I was incarcerated. I don't look like what I've been through. But again, can I get all the women that have ever been incarcerated to stand on your feet? It's been one day in jail or federal prison. Please stand on your feet, please. Most of them is very red. I wish I was sick of time to look at my sisters that are standing on their feet. Can y'all raise your hands? Put your hand in the air if you ever experienced the justice system. While you guys are clapping, I'd like to say that we have leaders in the room. They are doctors, they're lawyers, they lead their own organizations. Some of them are celebrities, they're on TV, they're all over the place. But the main thing about them is the vision that they have in their heart and how they feel about this movement and how they feel about fighting for our brothers and our sisters that are behind the walls of incarceration. I want to take the time to thank Dana Kathy Williams. That's my sister who's a minister. Dana, would you please stand? I heard your prayer from back in the room. Where are you, Dana? Are you here with me? Take the lead. Oh, to my left. To my left. Right here to my left. Thank you so much, Dana. I thought they said you had to leave. I know better than that. She runs Buckeye Life Transition Group for Women, and she's a good friend of mine. And of course, my board members, please stand, please. My board members in here, can you please stand? My board members. They put up with me, they listen to my mess, and it's difficult trying to thank you guys so much. I thank you guys for really pouring into my vision and coming out here tonight. We're going to bring next to the stage, if y'all can stand to your feet for Trinity Snow, please y'all, the transformation has been so. Trinity went from a school of incarceration, turning point. Trinity went to turning point. I used to have to buzz myself in. I used to go down there and say, Lord, I'm going to be in jail again if I keep fooling with this school. Had to buzz Trinity in. Trinity couldn't carry her lip gloss. She'd come outside with no book bag. One day I went into school. I said, what y'all running over here? This is a jailhouse. But Trinity has made a turnaround. When I got Trinity, Trinity had all F's. Trinity's on the AB honor roll now. So, you know, it takes a village, right? It takes a village. So we have Cedric Dean, Marcus Massey, Charlene Henderson, Gemini Boyd, Christy Williams, Betty Baker. Trinity goes to church with Cedric Mom. When I'm traveling in and out of town, she goes over there and help them and get her in and out of the school. It takes a village. That is my village. So give a round of applause to my village. I'm not here to take credit for anything by myself. It takes a village, and I'm humbly thankful for my village.
If you give a seal a ball and he balances it on his nose, and he take it to the trainer and throw the ball back to the trainer, and the trainer give him some fish. And he take the fish and go up under the water and eat all the fish. That's a trained seal. If you throw a ball on a seal's nose and he balance it and throw it back to the trainer, and the trainer give him a bucket of fish, and the seal go up under the water and feed his family, that's an educated seal. There's a difference in being trained in your thinking and being educated. So that word education versus incarceration is a big deal. You do understand you live in a world where you can go to Walmart and get in a full-fledged argument because you told your child, I'm the Santa Claus that brings the toys in the house. Do you understand? You can get a whole aisle shut down because of that argument. Y'all worrying about Trump and still talking about somebody coming down your chimney bringing some toys to your kids. Only thing I'm telling you is don't tiptoe and be convenient with a lie and a truth. Decide when you're going to cut it off, because I know what we say is for the kids. That's what the lady told me at Walmart last week, and I told her kids grow up to be adults. I'm just throwing it out there to see if it sticks. I'm just a host with a microphone and a table full of socks. That's all. That's all. I ain't special. I ain't Steve Harvey.
Okay, so if y'all know this song, I need y'all to stand on your feet. Let's go, DJ Mungo. This is how we're going to do this tonight. If you know that you've made it out of any situation, any circumstance, and God had your back, I need you to stand on your feet right now and give my God some praise on tonight. Come on in here. I done made it through the storm and the rain. So much pressure, heartache, so much pain. I've been broken into pieces, maybe more. And some nights I lay my bed right on the floor. The enemy really tried to take me out. Hey, he hit me with his best shot, knocked me down. But I'm still standing after all I've been through. I survived in all of this because of you. Help me sing it. I made it. Come on, put your hands together. I made it, y'all. I made it, y'all. Hey, let me hear y'all voices. I made it, y'all. Let me hear you say, I made it, y'all. Oh, thank you, God, I made it. Through the storm, through the rain, I made it, hey, hey. Now I want y'all to say, I made it. Come on, come on, come on. I made it, 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 I made it. Through the storm, through the rain, through the good day, through the bad day, I made it. Hey, hey, hey. I thank you, I honor you. Keep going, keep praying, keep putting God first, because you're making a difference not only in those children's lives, but in grown women's lives like myself. Thank you. You guys be blessed on tonight.
Trying to get to the south side. I'm trying to get to uptown to see LeBron. But that one headlight, you know how to act on 77. I'm going to need your help tonight. What? You know, if I got pulled over, I just start singing gospel. I don't care what they're asking me, driver's license, registration. Never would have made it. You know you only got one headlight. If it had not been for the Lord, all night. All night. If it's a young troop, I'm a killer. You'll be like, step out the car. You'll be like, on a hill, far away, stood an old road. He don't know nothing about that. He gotta let me go.
Coach Zeke was a name, and an individual that always told me that I was the best in the world. As a 10-year-old child, I struggled immensely in the game. I can recall batting against the white Doc Gooden and literally running from the curveball. Fellow players at the ballpark would ridicule me for days behind this. I didn't like that feeling at all. Even when I struck out, Coach Zeke greeted me at the dugout and he would always tell me, "That's okay, Jimmy C. You're the best in the world. You're the best in the world, baby." And hearing those words wanted me to be the very best and to make Coach Zeke proud of me. My entire 10-year-old season, I literally sucked. The off-season gave me the time to truly hone in on my baseball skills. I would play strikeout with tennis balls, baseballs, cup balls full of dirt, rocks, yellow plums that are grown all over Florida, and tiny little corks similar to thimbles. Yes, I would play strikeout with a mop handle and tiny little corks. Incredibly, my hand-to-eye coordination became superb. In the next season, I showed up and I showed out. This was my second season playing on the team Pepsi-Cola, the Cubs, with Coach Zeke. I had an awesome season. Coach Zeke would chant to me throughout the season saying, "Jimmy C, you the best in the world, baby. You the best in the world, baby." And whenever I would play shortstop, pitch, or step into the batter's box, I played as if I was, in fact, the very best in the world. I affectionately remember telling Coach Zeke that I was one day going to play for the real Chicago Cubs. At the conclusion of the regular season, I was chosen to play on the All-Star team. My hard work and dedication had paid off. I would continue to play baseball at Belmont Heights Little League for 3 more years, improving my skills and displaying my talent. I had a new sense of confidence that enabled me to take on any challenge with the mindset that I was a winner. I would go on to competitively play baseball and other sports at Hillsborough and Tampa Bay Tech High School until my graduation in 1984. My baseball talent was now recognized throughout the Tampa Bay area. In the June Amateur Major League Baseball draft, I was drafted by the Chicago Cubs. God is awesome. I recall that I had told Coach Zeke that I was going to play for the real Cubs one day. That day had arrived. I was drafted as a pitcher into the organization of my dreams. Within a month's time, I would catch a flight to Mesa, Arizona to begin my first season with the Cubs. Life was great. I was on top of the world. I had no idea that I was about to be challenged to my core. In late February to early March of 1989, I was back in Florida when police detectives from Charleston, West Virginia came to question me about 2 women being attacked, sexually assaulted, and robbed by a light-skinned black male in Charleston, West Virginia back in 1987. I was not surprised to hear about the heinous crimes because I was in Charleston playing baseball with the minor league team at that time. What surprised me was that they wanted to talk to me about this crime 2 years later. You see, I, along with almost every black man in Charleston, West Virginia, including every black man on my baseball team, had been questioned by the police in 1987. After the police determined that I was not the criminal, given the fact that the forensic evidence didn't match and one of the victims had ruled me out, I was cleared and I went on about my life. Knowing that I was innocent and thinking that this was just a mistake, I spoke to the officers willingly and provided them with requested blood, saliva, urine, and pubic hairs. I complied with the detective's request because I had not committed the crimes and I had nothing to hide. I strongly advise against providing any of your bodily fluids and or any evidence without legal representation and or a warrant. I would later realize that I had made the biggest mistake of my life by providing my prints and bodily fluids and other forensic evidence. Within 10 minutes of detectives receiving this evidence, certainly before they could test it, I was arrested and charged with 2 separate counts of sexual assault, robbery, burglary, and assault during the commission of a felony. My nightmare had begun. I would spend the next 10 months in jail fighting to win my liberty and receive justice. I would meet with my court-appointed attorney only once prior to trial. Not only would this be his first case, he had not received all of the evidence the state intended to use against me. To say that my lawyer was unprepared for a trial of this magnitude is an understatement. We both agreed that he needed to seek a continuance. We proceeded to court where the judge summarily denied the request. The primary evidence used against me was a bloody fingerprint and serology DNA evidence that Fred Zane, the state's star witness, said match mine. Fred Zane was a West Virginia State Trooper and serologist DNA expert. The trial revealed several inconsistencies in the state's case. Namely, the forensic reports were misreported and misrepresented. The description of the perpetrator was that he was light complexion and stood 6 foot tall. I'm gonna pause at that and tell y'all I ain't never been light skinned. Shockingly, the state decided that they would retry me on all the original charges with the same evidence that had been deemed false. By the grace of God, 5 months later and 2 days before the trial was to commence, and after a DNA hearing that picked apart their case, the state of West Virginia dismissed all charges with prejudice. Finally, my nightmare was over.
And this read, the Ramona Brent Humanitarian Legacy Award goes to Phyllis Hardy, Beauty After Bars, 2019 Gala. Come on around here and receive this award. I got her. I know I got her.
We're running short on time. I just want to say that I received clemency, did time with Kimba in Dublin. We've all cried, so many tears, wondering how we were going to break through that wall. But we all have an obligation when we do bust through the wall to reach back in and to help our sisters that are left behind.
And I just want to say, because of the time that I spent over 7,000 days in federal prison. I had a 50-year federal prison sentence. And I came home like so many other people in this room. And if you haven't been incarcerated before, take this with you and take it to your household. There's enough people in his room that's done enough time for everybody in this city and everybody in this country. Don't nobody else need to be doing no more time, because we done enough. Just so you know that.
Y'all, please, Beauty After Bars, support this endeavor. There's nothing more important. Sorry, Tiawana. There is nothing more important than our young. Everything we do, no matter what we do or how we choose to do this work, you make sure that you do it in a way that you are defending our young. Thank you.
I just want to say, for the city of Charlotte, I just want to say thank you to my big sister right here, T. Huge inspiration. From the first time I met her, I already saw how she was energy-wise, and she's really spreading her love through the city. And she has a big heart. It's really bigger than her. So when you say it takes a village, I'm just glad to be a part of that. So, because I came from that too. So, just really blessed to have this. Appreciate it. Shout out to all the families. Thank you.
Helped me to get in office. And Tia, Cedric, and Charlie, and Marcus, and all that. You don't know our history, but we have a long history. But I want to thank Tia, because when, I can't remember, but only one time during my entire election, she was not there for me. And one time it got kind of salty when my wife rolled up and she saw Tia. Tia had to take care of her business. But when you're traveling like she does and I do a lot, one thing is good to know. When you wake up in a city, now I was in last couple of weeks ago in Tampa, I was in a room full of people that was kind of hostile. But believe it or not, Tia was there. When she saw I was on a program, she flew to Tampa and was in a room with me. So I know a lot of you all call her your sister. She's definitely my sister. I've known her half of her life. I just want to say I love her in front of everybody, and thank you for all the phone calls. She will admit any problem that you have with anybody, trust me. And she will talk to you. I think we talk 3 times a day. She probably talk to you all 3 times a day, but that's just the way Tia is. And I want to thank you for allowing me to be in your life, but I want to thank you for getting me to where I am today. Thank you.
When I tell you I can call them any hour, cash out me this. Cash out me some cash. They do it all the time. What you need money for now? But I get it. Thank you so much, and I do not take it lightly.
Well, as many of y'all know, 2 years ago, I was in here and everybody was a little down because I was supposed to be coming home, but that got tucked away by President Trump. But today I'm here, and There's a lot that the women in this room do that goes unnoticed, that you will not see on CNN, Fox News, or even on your local TV channel. And I tell you that Amy Povey, every day she was emailing me. Every day she functioned as a secretary between me and countless inmates that was in the prison system, not inmates, formerly incarcerated individuals. But she took the time to email and help us fight within the system. But most importantly, right, tonight I want to just take the time to just say thank you to Tiawana Brown, because it's hard being Tia. Nobody in this room more than me know what she had to go through. It's easy to smile and say, hey, I support Tia and this and that. But for me, I'm a little, I was a bully growing up, so I know how to bull my way in there. But Tia be nice. And a lot of people take her kindness for weakness. It's one thing when we say we support our formerly incarcerated individuals, but it's another thing when you give them jobs. It's another thing when you treat us like colleagues instead of convicts. So I just want you to know in your heart, right, that one thing about us, we're gonna always be about the people, and we ain't gonna never change. When you become a politician, you put politics before people. And just remember in your heart, right, at the end of the day, it's all about the people, because we the one that got you there. Nothing but love for y'all.
Ain't God good? Y'all gotta give yourself a round of applause for coming out tonight, support my sister, Tiawana Brown. Who you out there, boss? Well, I'd like to first of all say I got a real long history with my sister. We both come out of Southside Project together. And I'll never forget, 1978, she chased me and ran me down. Football tackled me, because she was the roughest one in the neighborhood. She played on the same team that I played on. We played against everybody in the hood.
But there were red flags that I didn't pay attention to. And I can remember it was one time where I was at Peter's place and he told me, he didn't tell me anything, his boy had came and knocked on the door, and I got up to answer the door, and basically he told me, Kimba, sit down. I don't want you ever jumping for another man again. And so in my mind I was thinking, why is he tripping? Why can't I get the door? But basically that was a red flag that I should have realized that he was controlling and I needed to get out of that relationship. But I did not. And so eventually it came a point in time where I was at a Greek picnic in Philadelphia, and I'm not going to go through the whole spiel of the story. If you want to know all the ins and outs of the drama, I'll be back there selling my copies of Poster Child, my book. But he strangled me to the point where I thought that I thought that he was going to kill me, and blood vessels had popped all over my face and in my eyeballs. And so at that point afterwards, that first incident, I had it in my mind that as soon as I get away from him, I'm going to leave. But then I stopped listening to my inner voice, and I started listening to his I'm sorry's, it'll never happen again, and him crying in my lap telling me how he didn't want me to be afraid of him. And so things pretty much escalated. That love that I thought that I had for him in the beginning turned more so to fear, because it came a point where he had killed his best friend because he thought his best friend had cooperated with the authorities. And at that particular point, I tell people, young people in particular, shoot, but grown women, be careful of who you bring in your safe spaces. Because if you saw in the video, he was actually sitting in my parents' living room, and there became a point in time where he felt like my parents were responsible for the feds coming after me more because my parents wanted their baby girl back. And so he blamed my parents for him having extra federal investigations on him. And I tell kids, just again, be careful of who you bring around your safe spaces. And there was actually a particular point where he had actually threatened my father because he was trying to get in touch with me and he wasn't able to reach me. And so it became a point where I knew I had to turn myself in, and I was 7 months pregnant. I remember being scared to death, and I actually had been on the run with Peter for 8 months, where we went from Houston, Texas to Arizona to San Diego, California, and then to Seattle, Washington. And some of you all may be here in these different cities and be like, oh, you heard them say 500, whatever, how much weight they held me responsible for, and thinking that I was just this drug dealer's girlfriend, and we were living the life. But basically, when he was going from city to city, when he picked me up in Houston, Texas, we were living in the 3rd Ward, which was one of the roughest areas in Texas, and I can remember when we walked his apartment, there were bars on the door, bars on the window, and roaches crawling in the apartment. And so when we were going from city to city, ultimately when we got to Seattle, Washington, there was a point in time where we were walking homeless on the street, and we didn't know where we were going to get our next meal from. We slept in the Greyhound bus station. Again, thank God I don't look like my story. But when I was in Seattle, Washington, and understand, brothers, y'all that might have been out there hustling or whatever, in raising my son, I made sure that my son understood that his father had bad behaviors, but he was not a total monster. That he had a great charismatic personality and people gravitated towards him. But one of the things that I thank God for Peter for was that when he realized that I was pregnant with my son, he knew that he wasn't man enough to take care of me, and he made the decision that he wanted me to go back home to my parents and got me a train ticket to go back home. And I was scared to go back home because my biggest fear was, oh my God, my dad's gonna kill me coming home pregnant. But when I came back home, my biggest problem wasn't my parents. They welcomed me with open arms. It was the fact that I had been indicted by the federal government. And so here I was, 7 months pregnant, and I had to turn myself in. The prosecutor said my parents had gotten me an attorney who was friends with the prosecutor. They thought that it would work to my advantage. And the prosecutor said that if I turned myself in, he would grant me a bond to give birth to my son. He also said that if I pled guilty, that I would only get 24 months. So as a prosecutorial misconduct, when I ended up turning myself in, the judge was about to release me, and the prosecutor stood up and read a statute that basically prevented the judge from releasing me. So here I was, 7 months pregnant in county jail, and I'm sure Tiawana, you know about that, and wondering what my future was gonna be. I don't care what kind of background I had, 2-parent home, college student, or whatever, what the hell is going on in our system? Keep letting people's lives go away, and we as a community some of the time can be too judgmental. You hear somebody, oh, she was a drug dealer, or he was hustling, or somebody killed somebody. You don't know what the circumstances or what that person's background was like. And out of all the award recipients, all of what you've heard, understand that we've used our disadvantages as our biggest advantages, and we got a whole lot more work to do. Thank you.
My name is Angela Antoine, and I'm from Hampton, Virginia, and we have House of Dreams Reentry Consulting, where we have formerly incarcerated women and those that are incarcerated in Hampton.
My name is Kerwin Pittman. I'm from Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm the Executive Director and Founder of Recidivism Reduction Educational Program Services. I did 11 and a half years and came home. I said I'm gonna help people, try not to make the mistakes I make and make the change.
I'm Trey Johns. Fam for life in the building by way of Miami, Florida, and we help women coming out of incarceration.
I am Narika Jenkins from Brooklyn, New York, by way of Douglasville, Georgia, and I am the Executive Director of a Women's Worth Project.
Hey, I'm Demetrius Rayner. I'm here in Charlotte, and I am the Founder, Executive Director of My Meta Reentry Services that will starting up in 2020.
I'm Spencer Merriweather, District Attorney here in Charlotte.
My name is Colette Forrest, and I'm just humbled and grateful to be recognized.
My name is Greg Jackson. I'm the founder of Heal Charlotte. This one's for a young man that I just lost that I was mentoring. His name's Alhaji Kamara, so this is for you, bro.
My name is Dana Catherine Williams from Charlotte, North Carolina, Butterfly Life Women's Transformation Group.
Charlene Henderson, right here. And I am SAVE, Safeguard, Atone, Validate, Educate, where we make children job ready instead of jail ready.
Charlotte Garnes from Savannah, Georgia, co-founder of Reintegrated Voices.
Dr. Zaria Davis, Cincinnati, Ohio, co-founder of Reintegrated Voices.
Anthony Wilson from Maryland, director and founder of the FRESH program. It stands for Fully Restoring Every Son's Hope, where we prevent our youth from going to prison.
I am Jimmy C. Gardner from Tampa, Florida. I am the CEO and founder of JC Gardner Speaks LLC and Gardner House Incorporated. And I thank you all for having me tonight. Thank you for allowing me to share my story with you.
Kimba Smith Fradia, the Kimba Smith Foundation.
Kelly Little, the Urban Institute for Strengthening Families, where we rival the school of prison pipeline by creating our pipeway to excellence, as well as the infinite voice of our youth, where we give youth a voice on the podcast so they can tell exactly what's going on in the community, so the village can step up.
Nico Chosen, board member with Safe Coalition.
Leandra Garrett, I'm a member of a lot of organizations, and I'm a big community advocate.
Ruby Welch, I'm the founder and facilitator of a negative felon, which is God made a positive, which stands for formerly incarcerated, empowered leaders, overcoming negative stigmas, which is full force in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Hi, I am Tia Titus, and I'm actually here just to stay in my lane and to continue to help the men and the women that's coming home from prison.
I'm Will Adams, the CEO of Team True Blue, also a founder of the United Neighborhoods of Charlotte.
Hello, my name is Teresa Swan Hutchinson. I'm the owner and operator of the Dewey Shop School of Cosmetology. We work with second chance individuals who cannot receive funding because of being felons, convicted, high school dropouts, things like that. And I also have started a mental health agency where we help behavior, youth, mental health, disability, children, and adolescent. And I want to give a shout out to my sister, Miss Tracy Siblin. If you could please stand. She helps me every day. We help the mental health, behavioral health individuals in the Bailey's-Ford area, communities. Thank you so much for all you do as well.
Hello, my name is Andrea Hudson, but everybody calls me Muffin. I'm the director of the North Carolina Community Bail Fund of Durham. That was the first bail fund in North Carolina.
Good evening. Thanks again, sis. I love you so much. My name is Gemini Boyd, president and CEO of Project BOLD. Project BOLD stands for Building Outstanding Lives Together.
Good evening, guys. As you all know, I'm Miss Tia's mentee, Trinity. First, I would like to say thank you all for coming out. This is my first time. It was phenomenal. I love it. Y'all look beautiful, outstanding. Thank you. My mentor has really changed my life. It's been a journey, but I really truly thank you for everything. Vina, for backup support. All my village, Cedric, Dean, Anna, Dana, Christy, the whole village. Jimina, Tajima for being a sister to me, Antoinette, even though she's not here. It's a whole lot, but I can't name everybody, and I just truly